African as a political identity is more functional than black. It was Africans who were enslaved, not blacks. They just happened to be black in colour. As with political parties, who care more about whether or not you accept their values and will give them your vote, Europeans cared less about the skin colour than the mindset of the person they were trying to enslave. The lies used to justify slavery, which form the basis of what we call racism, were about Africans, not blacks. Blacks could easily gain acceptance by Europeans as long as they accepted their given European identity. Even at the height of slavery, blacks who accepted European Christianity could be ordained as ministers, given their own congregation. Those who retained their African religion faced corporal and even capital punishment. There were blacks who were celebrated as classical musicians and composers, whilst Africans could be sentenced to corporal and even capital punishment, simply for playing the African drum. Blacks were celebrated as orators and authors of European literature, whilst for Africans, simply using their African language could lead to corporal and even capital punishment. Being black was never the reason for hatred and unfair prejudice. Unfortunately, your black skin identifies you as being African or of African heritage. So you'll face prejudice until you can prove just how European, American, British, etc., that you are. Fortunately, you will probably never be as accepted to the same degree as a white European, because you will always be associated with what society feels about Africans. Dealing with the prejudice against Africans is the key to real freedom. Unfortunately, blacks the world over have spent so long fighting to be accepted as European that they have lost all understanding of their African identity. Many politically distance themselves from anything even remotely African and have become so obsessed with denying their heritage that they have become just as prejudiced against Africans as white people. This is why the black political identity fails in terms of addressing the prejudice that we experience.